You guys are online reputation masters, and that's what you guys are going to talk to us about today. I'm just gonna lead with a question, which is just like, can you share some crazy review reputation management stories you have, especially concerning SEO? Because I get that all the time. People message me, they're like, I have this bad review written about me, or somebody said this bad thing about me and it's showing up on page one. How do I get it taken down? Or how do I have more reviews put up on page one so I can shorten sales cycles? Like, how do I do all of this stuff? And you guys probably have amazing stories to share.
Yeah, I got a couple of them. First of all, my own story. So the reason I got into reputation management about 10 years ago is because I was recently hired as the new CMO of a national billion-dollar franchise. And I almost didn't take the job because they had a terrible online reputation. And I told them that. I said, I really don't think I want to work for you. And they're, why? Because you have terrible reviews online. And so they said, well, if you come in as the CMO, you can fix that. So that's what I did. I came in, I took the challenge. And the very first thing I focused on was collecting and distributing reviews to credible third-party review platforms, specifically for the industry that they were in. And literally within months, we improved the number of leads by 29% and the revenue by 19%. That meant $190 million in increased revenue within a matter of months by simply focusing on collecting reviews from every single customer and then sending those reviews to third-party review platforms. And that increased the SEO, the clicks, the traffic, the conversions, the revenue. Because really at the end of the day, it comes down to, do people trust your brand? Do the search engines trust your brand? And reviews on credible third-party review platforms are a major trust signal for both the consumer and the search engines. Another great story is a client of ours. They'd been bumping along for 5 years with under 1,000 unique visitors a month. 5 years. And then in June, a couple of years ago, they installed our review platform and our search optimized Q&A tool. And within 9 months, they increased their traffic by 8,745%, with an increase in page one keywords by 12,950%, and they increased their conversion rate by 272% in a 9-month period. Now, they also started to do blogging, but they attributed at least half of that traffic and all of the conversion rate to the reviews and the search optimized Q&A. So there's a couple of great stories that can really turn around a business literally in less than a year. It doesn't have to be this long, drawn-out process.
What's the Q&A tool? You guys didn't even tell me about this over. So for background, just for people listening, I get pitched by PR people literally like 3 times a day for people who want to come on the show. These guys they have like a lot of reputation experience that is very relevant to SEO. This is mostly an SEO podcast, and I'm like, okay, I think we can probably learn some cool things. But they didn't tell me about the Q&A tool over email, so I'm just genuinely curious what it is. Is it like a WordPress plugin?
No, it's a search optimized Q&A tool that automatically creates a schema markup for the Q&A featured snippet. And basically you put in, here's a question, a popular question people have about the product or the brand or the service, and then you create the answer, and it automatically does a schema markup for you.
So what were they using? What was their CMS?
I don't know what their CMS was, but our
because a lot of CMSs, like they have like Q&A widgets, and that will actually have schema on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess so. You made like a schema. You made a Q&A tool that goes onto. Does it embed? Like how does it actually go into sites?
We partnered with a brand that embeds it on your site. So you have a extension and a subfolder for Q&A, and each question and answer has a subfolder. Exactly. And so it's literally creating a subfolder for each question and answer pair, so that it's very easy for the search engines to crawl and index. And it's a short answer.
I'm sorry. One question gets its own subfolder?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
So if you have 15 questions, you have 15 subfolders.
Yep. And answers.
how long ago was this story where the people boosted their SEO traffic?
This is a couple years ago.
That's insane. I'm just like, as an SEO person, I'm just like, oh my God, that's, to me, I would like, I don't want to put, like, if I have like 40 questions, I don't want to do 40 subfolders for each question. So it's a subfolder, it's an individual page.
It's a subfolder on the website.
And then, so, okay, the subfolder is like / the name of the question.
Right.
And then what comes after the subfolder?
The answer. So you got the question and the answer. So
The answer is, oh, that's interesting.
yeah. And the reason
So
that's
do you ever
important-
have like multiple answers to the same question? So like you'll have a subfolder, and then nested in that subfolder is different answers.
Yes.
But why
'Cause you
would you
don't
do
know-
that? Why would you have like different
you-
answers?
Because sometimes you'll get multiple results in the search and you don't know which one Google is going to prefer. So we don't always do that, but you can have 2 or 3 answers to the same question. So you can have one question, does the ABC widget float? Right? And you can have 2 or 3 answers to that question. Now, obviously you want to keep those in those 40 to 60 word answers because that's what the featured snippet prefers.
And so then the page is just going to be like 60 words?
Yep.
And that's it?
That's it. That's it. You got it. Now think about this. It's really easy and fast for Google to crawl and index a 12-word question and a 40 to 60 word answer. So therefore, your crawl allowance isn't being eaten up by trying to find the question and answer within a 1,500 word blog, right? So it's really easy and fast for Google to index this content.
Here's what I'll say. And by the way, so the reason that I'm being kind of hard on you is because like I feel like my listeners and viewers, they watch this because I try to constantly give them the best advice that I can and discern the best advice that I can. And I feel like I want to, I don't like this word protect, but I just feel like I want to like protect my viewers and listeners from things that could hurt their sites. So I'm personally trying to understand it to see if it's like a good practice. But I actually could see it being positive for searchers because searchers have a question and to your point, their answers are buried in long pages. And that's why like people like Reddit, that's why people like shorts, because they get their answers fast and it's easy. And so that's a very interesting take. I'm a little bit hesitant about like this being good for crawl budget because there are now so many more pages to crawl and you're creating all of these subfolders. And I like, to me, in my mind, like I really care about information architecture, and I'm like, oh, I feel like this could make my site very bloated or like complex. But like the idea of just putting a useful 60-word answer with the question on a page kind of does make sense. It kind of does make sense from a UX perspective. That's a really interesting take that I haven't heard before.
Yeah, it is interesting. And if you think about what the human wants, which is really just a short, direct, concise, easy,
That's what they
fast
want.
answer, right? Well, Google wants the same thing. Google doesn't want to crawl and index and decipher a 1,500
bunch of
word
garbage
article just to get to the answer, right? And so
That's cool. That's
if you can serve it
a
up on a
unique
silver
thing
platter
that you guys did. That's really unique to make a tool that does this. Man, that's a cool concept.
Well, and think of where the question is. It's on a product page. So it's a very specific product, and the questions are related to that product on that page. And so it just makes sense to have nice little short answers to those questions, that most popular questions that people have about that product.
Oh, so okay. So these subfolders are maybe nested by like, it could be like 1 layer or 2 layers, because it's like yoursite.com /product / the question and then / the answer.
Right. It's a widget within the product page. So it's a Q&A widget, just like a review widget, right? And so that provides the nesting, like you said, the correlation to the product name right after the product name, product Q&A, product reviews, right? So everything's nested where it should be in correlation to the previous folder, which would be obviously the product. So the correlation is very tight.
I was imagining that makes more sense. I was imagining the subfolders being like literally right off the root domain, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah,
No,
you can do that for your brand. It can be for the brand, you can do that, but for the product, you want it to be nested within the product, just like your product reviews.
Yeah, that makes
just random
that makes
on
more
the
sense.
website. You need that
this is the type of this is the type of person that I am. Is like I like hear something that's unusual to me, and then like I have to go deep on it to fully understand it. But okay. This method of marketing is so effective, I had to make sure it wasn't against Google's rules before I kept doing it. It's a form of SEO I call compact keywords. Whereas most SEO focuses on putting up articles to answer questions how, what, when, compact keywords focuses on putting up dozens of pages that sell to searchers who are actually looking to buy. These pages rank on Google and convert so much better than normal that when I discovered this years ago, I couldn't believe this was allowed. It's less work too. The average compact keywords page is only 415 words. Compact Keywords is a 13-hour deep course on getting sales with SEO. A customer recently said, "Each lesson is dense with information. You're giving years worth of experience boiled down into 15 to 30-minute lessons with no filler or fluff. I feel like I'm gaining a new superpower." Compact Keywords is about setting up an SEO funnel that brings you sales for years and years and years. It works with AI, it's less work than traditional SEO, and it makes way more money. You can get it now at compactkeywords.com. Back to the podcast. What sites rank best for reviews right now and especially coming into 2026?
In our world, there's two different types of review sites. There's open review sites and there's closed or verified review sites. Most consumers, I don't think, know the difference, but there's a very big difference. On the one side, on open review sites, pretty much anyone can go leave a review, whether they're a customer or not, right? Even if they bought the product or not, they're allowed to go and leave a review. Where a closed or
would Reddit, I mean, Reddit isn't specifically a review site, but it's like anyone can say anything there.
Yeah, so it's similar, right? So the plus side of an open review platform or a review site like Reddit is there's a lot of content that's flowing through that site, and so it gets a lot of love from Google and from different search engines. So, but the downside is most of those open review sites are basically glorified complaint boards, right? Because unhappy customers, we've done the research, 10-1 is the ratio of negative reviews to positive reviews on an open review platform. So there's a lot of unhappy people that go and leave content on these sites. That has a lot of impact in SEO. But the bad part is that it's mostly negative content about your brand. So there's that side. Those are the ones where you're going to get the biggest impact online. But we have strategies to offset that 10-1 ratio in Shopper Approved. So I'd say open review platforms like Trustpilot, Yelp, those big open review platforms are where you're going to get the most visibility, but you've got to be really careful.
And of course, Google reviews on your, Google business profile if you have a location, a retail location, or an address that you can tie those reviews to.
You said you have strategies for getting reviews.
Yeah, so we built out a tool. It's called Reputation Manager, and basically what we do as a verified or closed review platform, which means only people that buy can leave a review. What we do is when somebody makes a purchase and we send them the review request, we basically say, instead of leaving a review, all your reviews on Shop are approved. Hey, why don't you go and leave a review on this site? Or why don't you go and leave a review on this site? And so what that does is it gives the business the ability to manage their reputation across multiple review platforms, honestly, ethically. But what it does is, because you're actively sending customers to those open review platforms, they're mostly negative reviews, it balances out the ratio of customers, and it naturalizes their reputation across the web. So instead of having a 1.4 star on Trustpilot, over time you actually get like a true reputation score, like a 4.2 or a 4.3, which is more accurate for a good business to have.
And that's exactly what we did with my previous story at the national franchise. Is they were just letting people leave reviews on their own accord wherever they wanted, but they weren't proactively collecting reviews and then directing people to these review platforms. So that's what we did. We throttled it. We said, okay, this week we're going to focus entirely on this platform. We're going to send all the reviews there. The next week, this one, et cetera, until we normalize those reviews across the web. So when you did a search for the brand name reviews, or is the brand name legit, which is a very popular search term, look at your Google Search Console, then it would dominate page one with 4 or 5 different review platforms with a high number of reviews and positive reviews, simply because we're proactively asking every single customer to leave a review. We didn't game it. We didn't delete. We didn't manipulate. We just said, would you please leave us a review? Well, if they bought a product from the brand, they were happy. That's why they bought it, because they were happy. So they would leave a good review. But if you don't proactively collect reviews from every customer, then only the ones that are upset or have a bone to pick or are mad at you are going to leave a review. It's just the natural way things work, because they're the only ones motivated. If you're happy, you're not motivated to leave a good review. But if you're proactive and ask people and make it easy to leave a review, they will. And 95% of your customers are happy. So 95% of your reviews are going to be positive. But the problem is most people simply don't proactively ask and distribute reviews to these third-party platforms. Therefore, the reputation suffers. And therefore, their traffic and their conversion suffers.
Wow. I was just like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need to do this. I'm like, I haven't proactively told people, hey, please leave a review on this place. Please leave a review on this place. I don't know why. It's like, it's like, it's so basic, and I just didn't think of doing it. It's like, it's one of those things. And, but it's really smart, because so you're measuring for how many reviews your brand has on different platforms and then trying to fill the gaps.
Absolutely.
Yes. And our tool does it automatically. So it knows where the gaps are, and it sends people to the places where you need the reviews to fill the gap.
So wait, can you explain what happens? So somebody buys somebody buys a product, and then how does your tool come into play?
So if somebody buys a product from,
like, walk me through as if I'm actually like someone who purchased, and then like what's going to happen to me as a customer.
Sure. So you're going to get a review request from us, but it'll say,
is it going to be like right after purchasing, or is it going to be like a week later once I've had time to use the thing?
So we use a 2-step process. So we ask an initial survey, we call it, right after you buy, just to see if there's, what your experience was on the site or up to that point, right? That helps with, if there is any issues in checkout, the company can go and fix it. They can find problems really quickly. We also ask for buyer intent at that point. Why did you buy from us? Right? That's really important information that other shoppers want to know. They want to know why you bought from us instead of the competition, right? So we collect that information initially. Then once they get the product, we send them what we call a full survey. That has a lot more questions about, how is the shipping process? How, did you have to contact customer support? How was that experience? How was the product? What was your were you satisfied with it? We take all of that data and we combine it with the initial survey data. And we put it together, and that becomes your entire review.
And
So
realize, sorry, I was just going to differentiate that there's three types of reviews, Edward. There's store ratings, used to be called seller ratings, Google seller ratings, now called Google store ratings. And then there's product reviews, and then there's video reviews. And all three play in a different place and time. And all three can show up in search, and all three should show up in search. But if you're not collecting them, obviously you're reducing your hit rate. You're reducing the amount of ammunition you have to serve the search engine. So a store rating is about the store, the website, your buying experience, as Scott said, your checkout experience, etc. The product review is strictly about the product, and that review comes after you get the product. And then the video review comes with that full survey where you can update your store rating, you can leave your product review, and also leave a video review. So now you've got your YouTube presence, you've got your product reviews showing up for product searches and in your Google Shopping, and then you have your store ratings showing up in the paid and organic search results, as well as your Google Shopping. So by having all three of those assets search optimized for organic and paid search, you're going to dominate the search results for abc.com reviews.
Man, I'm
or
so
product reviews.
gosh, dude, I've been getting all of these amazing video testimonials for my SEO course, Compact Keywords. That's the thing on my shirt. I've been uploading them to my video host, which is bunny.net, but these videos are private. They're not private. They only show when they're embedded on the Compact Keywords landing page. I haven't uploaded them to YouTube and optimized them. What am I thinking? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
What are you thinking?
Yeah,
It's
what am I
killer.
thinking? Oh,
It's a
God.
killer strategy. I mean, I'll give you an example. This is crazy, but so if I do a search, you do a search for DJ Sprague, or who is DJ Sprague, you know what's going to dominate page one? The videos, the podcasts that we've been on, and the podcasts that we host.
Yeah, I've talked about
right?
that. I've talked about
Because
that.
Google loves YouTube. Google is YouTube. They're the same product, the same company. So if you can create good video content,
This is
around
literally
your
going
brand.
on my to-do list. This is so upload testimonials to YT. Come on. What a like
yeah,
so
and
wait,
put
wait,
the keywords,
so
put the keywords
yeah,
in
absolutely,
those titles, right?
absolutely. Compact Keywords review, and here's the name of the person doing the review. Yes. Oh my
It
gosh.
is legit. Is this SEO course legit? Or, you know,
Is
what
Compact-
is,
yeah,
it-
yeah, yeah.
is right? Because those
Well,
are the
coming-
words
yeah.
people are searching for.
I could, and honestly, yeah, I could. I could make a video. Is Compact Keywords legit? I would have it on my own, just transparently. Have it on Edward Sturm's own YouTube channel, and I'd string together a bunch of different video testimonials that I received. And I started, hey, you came here because you're wondering if Compact Keywords is legit. Hear from all of these people. Oh my gosh. Shoot, this is great. Wait, so your product gets the video reviews and then automatically uploads them, and they're SEO optimized they're optimized with like titles and stuff and descriptions when you upload them to YouTube?
It puts
Yeah.
them in their control panel, and then the client, our client, gets to decide which YouTube videos to go live on YouTube. Now, here's the thing. We are a Google and Bing certified review partner, which means we have to follow all the Google and Bing review rules, which means you cannot remove or delete reviews, good, bad, or indifferent. That's great because obviously Google and Bing love our reviews, and they serve them in the Google Shopping, organic and paid search results, et cetera. Obviously, you know, the rich snippets in the Google ads, we fire that. We populate that because we're a Google review partner. Now, video reviews are the only reviews that Google doesn't manage or monitor. So you can remove or delete video reviews at your own free will. You cannot do that with store reviews or product reviews. So we give the consumer, the client, the ability to thumbs up or thumbs down a video review. Thumbs up, it goes to YouTube. Thumbs down, it doesn't go to YouTube. So you can control that. That's the one piece you can control in terms of your reputation. Now, there are reviews you can have removed by Google if they're using profanity, if it's irrelevant, they're just ranting, but it has nothing to do with the brand or the product, et cetera. There are rules that Google has that allows you to legitimately remove a review. but there are very few instances in which you can do that.
Man, I don't know if this is the fact that it's my first coffee of the day or like what you're telling me, but I am feeling this conversation. I'm like really I have all of these to-dos now firing in my mind, different keywords that I could target around reviews, different content that I can use, what the video is going to look like, and it's just like, oh, of course.
That's why we wrote the book. We wrote the book.
Yeah. I was checking
King.
it out before the call.
It's all about SEO, and it's all about reputation management, and it's the only book ever written about e-commerce reputation management. And
but also
reviews,
something that I've been thinking.
Subset of SEO.
A complete subset of SEO. Something that I've been thinking too is like now I'm like, okay, I have an email that goes out to customers, and it says, hey, it would be so great if you left me a review for compact keywords. Here are some places that you can do it. What language? I mean, maybe just like what I described, or is there like the go-to language that you use when soliciting reviews?
Yeah, tell us why you bought it. Tell us what you like about it. Tell us your favorite thing. Right? What this is going to do is going to automatically focus people on what they liked, the positive. What was your favorite attribute of this product? Or what did you like best about this course? What did you like best about this video? What did you like best about your experience? And that's going to prompt people to talk about, well, I like this.
Okay, so you have this survey just like you're describing, and you get all of these answers. And then how do you use those? How does your tool automatically string together those answers to come out on different platforms?
So when we send out the review request, we have a link in that email that we control, and we send them to wherever we want. So instead of them going straight to Shop Approved, we can send them to an open review platform where they just go to the landing page and they can leave the review. They're leaving the review on that platform. So that's why it's completely above board, is because we're not incentivizing them. We're not forcing them to do anything.
You're not taking the answer yourself. You're actually sending them to a platform, and then they say it on the platform.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were taking the answer and then syndicating it to a platform.
No, you can't. You're not allowed to do that. So all you can do is just send them somewhere. You can't. Well, you can.
You can do it with like an AI agent.
Yeah, Shopper Approved is a partner with Google and Bing, so we can syndicate the reviews we collect to multiple places, if through them. But you can't. We can't do that. We can't collect a review and then send it to Trustpilot. You can only send a customer to Trustpilot to leave a review.
Yeah. Because you want to see that it's coming from the person, of course.
Yeah, it's authentic, right? If it's not authentic, then it is.
So where do you get the video reviews?
We ask them in that full survey, would you like to leave a video review? And then they can simply say yes, hit record, upload, and it goes right to our platform. And then the client is notified you have a video review to look at, and then they can decide, yeah, I want that to go to YouTube or I don't. Now, here's the other cool thing. You can also send those video reviews to your product pages or to your category pages or to a specialized landing page. So now you've automatically got those testimonials that you use for your squeeze pages, landing pages, etc. You can also put them in your emails. You can put them in your ads. You can do whatever you want. You own that content. So you can shorten it. You can, make it tighter. You can make a compilation. Let's pull together our top 10 reviews for this product and make a compilation video. Put that on your website, right? Because you own this content. So there's all kinds of ways you can use it for both SEO and CRO, conversion optimization. Because it's all about trust, right? At the end of the day, it's all about trust and user-generated content. And obviously AI loves UGC, user-generated content. And they love it on third-party platforms, which is why they also love YouTube and review sites and articles, press releases, etc. Because more and more AI search is looking at third-party content, Quora, Reddit, etc.
So if I think about the Pareto principle a lot, which is the 20% of things that get 80% of the results. So what are the 20% of platforms to focus on if you were to send your customers to leave reviews? What are the and the smallest amount you could give me, literally like no more than 3 review platforms that you would like tell people to focus on?
I would say Google for number one.
Yeah.
Um,
Google Business
Google
Profile.
Business,
Yeah.
Google Business. And we actually can, as an e-commerce site, we do have a way for you to send reviews to your Google Business platform, which is kind of cool. And then obviously
Really? So wait, Google above, like, does Google Business Profile reviews, I suppose they would rank above Reddit. Yeah. Yeah, because you're Google Business. But but is that only if you have a service-based business?
Um, I don't think so. I
Like if
think
you're
you can,
e-commerce, if you're selling a fidget spinner, how do you how do you do that with Google Business Profile?
you have to have a physical address, and I think you have to be able to sell products at that address.
Because I'm just thinking someone's going to search for the name of the product plus the word review. So why would Google Business Profile show up?
It does better for the brand. Google Business
Yeah,
Profile
yeah.
works better for the brand, right? ABC.com reviews, ABC.com legit versus the widget.
All right. So
name.
I think a more specific question is what platforms would you focus on for product reviews?
That there's not a lot of open review platforms that focus on product reviews. Usually it's just Google and Bing as far as like syndicating those product reviews to the search engines directly. A lot of the open review platforms focus on store ratings, not product reviews.
I'm thinking about Reddit. That's what's coming to my mind. I don't know if you guys heard about it's crazy story by Lars Lofgren, a really well-known SEO, and he came on my show I guess like a week ago now. And the day after he came on my show, he dropped this insane story about a mod in like the coding boot camp subreddit who had an interest in his own like code academy boot camp. And this mod was targeting a competitor, and every day or two, like something like the frequency was crazy for an entire year, was saying bad things about this competitor for like an entire this from Lars Lofgren. He did all this research on it, and the mod stepped down from the subreddit because of this like a few days ago. And this was going hyper viral. It was trending #1 on Hacker News. It was being shared by everybody. And so this mod was using his position as a moderator on the Coding Bootcamp, I think that's the name of the subreddit, Coding Bootcamp subreddit, to say bad things about a competitor. And as a result, the competitor lost like 80% of their revenue. They had to fire tons of employees. They were almost going to go under or something. It was so intense. And so I'm just thinking, get good reviews and send your happy customers to Reddit.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, well, that's the problem with open review platforms and even open communication platforms, so like Reddit, right? Anyone can say anything about anybody, whether it's true or not. And so you can review bomb, they call it review bombing, a competitor, right? You can send bad reviews, especially with AI now. Like, I think that's going to be a really big problem for open review platforms going forward, because they can't tell if it's a real person or not. It's just
And
so
on Reddit,
good.
you don't even have to like on Reddit. If you link to the company, then your posts are more likely to get taken down. But if you don't link and you just say the brand name, that ranks on Google, and it's less likely to get taken down. You know what this mod was
Yeah.
doing? The mod was literally taking down positive things written about the competitor. That's like, it was such
Oh,
a
man.
crazy, totally abusing the moderator privileges. It was
Wow.
insane. Do you guys have a way for maybe this is, I'm sure this is something that you thought about. I don't know if you've cracked it. Do you guys have a way for identifying, like using sentiment analysis to identify happy customers versus unhappy customers, and then only sending these messages to the people that you think are happy customers? I don't even know if that's allowed, but
It's not. So
is
again,
it? But why wouldn't it be? But like, I mean, why wouldn't it be to just send? What's wrong with sending a review request to a subset of your customers?
well, Google wants you as a Google review partner, which means our reviews get syndicated to Google and picked up in your Google ads and Google Shopping, et cetera. You have to allow every customer to leave a review, and you can't bury or delete those reviews no matter what, unless again, the profanity, et cetera. There are some rules, but as long as they're within the guidelines, those reviews have to go live. But as Scott said earlier, the reality is, and this is what I find at my experience as a CMO of this big national franchise, is that if you ask every customer, by and large, the vast majority of reviews are going to be positive, because that's why you're in business. If you have a majority of clients that are unhappy, you're not going to be in business anyway. Forget the reviews.
I have a question. Do you think this is something that I've thought about, but I don't have a conclusive answer at all? But sometimes it feels like negative reviews rank better than positive reviews because they get more clicks, because that's what people are interested in. And so they get more clicks, and it's more salacious. And you could have like all these great positive reviews, but people zero in on the negative reviews.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Well, that's why it's so important to focus on your reputation management, right? Because what we call one stars are actually your best opportunity to make more money, because you can turn that one negative review into a net positive review by how you respond to it. And I mean, you buy online, right? So when you go look to buy something, you're going to look at the 1 stars for one, because you want to see how bad is bad. But then if the company responds to those 1 stars in an ethical and honest way, and you can tell that they've put some time and effort into actually helping that customer, you're more likely to buy from that company, not less, because of those 1-star reviews. So you can actually leverage your 1 stars to make way more money and to improve your reputation more than you could ever with 100 5-stars.
And statistically, if you have
go
a
ahead.
perfect 5-star review, people trust you less. People
I've
always
heard
think,
that
I need a perfect 5-star rating. You do not want a 5-star rating. You want a 4.2, 4.8, somewhere in that range. Because if people don't see any negative reviews, they assume you're gaming it. They assume you're burying and deleting those negative reviews, which means you're not honest, you're not ethical, you're not transparent. Who wants to deal with that company? They know that there's not a single perfect product or a single perfect company. So they want to see, and that's what you said earlier, people look for those negative reviews because they want to see how bad is bad. They want to see, was it a shipping issue or is the product just a complete pile of junk? Well, if the box was damaged, so what? It's a great product. But this person left a 1-star review because it was a day late or the packaging was damaged. That's not an issue, right? But people are crazy and they'll do that. So that's why they want to look at those reviews. What are they complaining about? Is it a completely faulty product or is it just it arrived late? So those are why the reviews are important, and the negative reviews are very important because most people will look at those negative reviews. And as Scott said, it's how you respond. So you want to make sure you're responding to every single negative review, addressing the issue, and showing the public that you do care and you do listen and you are communicative. You're taking care of these issues and not burying them and not ignoring them.
Do you guys know this guy? His name is Matthew Stafford. I don't know if the
Great
name,
guy. Love Matthew.
Yeah, okay. So he came on the show a couple of months ago and he said the exact same thing, which is I think he's like 1 and 2-star reviews are your best opportunity if you respond to them. And then he also said you don't want a perfect 5-star review. And he said he actually his method of and I've used this method, his method of post-purchase surveys, whereas he asks this question: what was the one thing that almost didn't get you to buy? that's like right away. And then he sends an email with 7 questions, very similar questions to what you guys have described. And yeah.
Great book. Making Websites Win. That's a CRO company out of the UK. And they wrote the book, Making Websites Win, and they talk about that question. Matthew's a great guy. I love Matthew, build, grow, scale. Super guy, super smart. He's absolutely right.
Yeah. Okay, this is kind of a crazy question, but it's a question that, I mean, you guys have probably gotten this a million times. I get this a million times. People email this to me. People ask me this on Instagram. People find my number on WhatsApp and send me text messages. Like, I get this asked all the time, which is something bad was said about me online. How do I get it removed? How do I bury it?
You bury it through getting more positive reviews. So back to, my experience at this national franchise, they had thousands of 1 and 2 star reviews, thousands and thousands. It's a big company, coast to coast company. So you can imagine, right? And over $1 billion a year in sales. So you can imagine how much revenue and business they did. Well, you can't really remove. Now there are companies you can pay a lot of money to basically intimidate these review platforms to remove a certain number of reviews. But it's very, very difficult and very, very expensive. Why bother? The better play is to simply collect a lot more positive reviews. And Scott has some great stories around some of our clients that we've helped with that, where a national consumer product was in the 1s and the 2s, and we simply used the reputation management tool to collect more reviews and send those reviews to these third-party platforms. And all of a sudden, their reviews on page 1 and all these major review platforms were in the 3s and in the 4s, completely changed the search results and the impression of this brand by simply not deleting, but simply burying through providing a lot more positive reviews. And so frequency is important and volume is important. And people think, well, I've got enough reviews, I can stop. No, you can't. Why? Because Google loves frequency and they love recency.
Yeah.
If your last review was 2 years ago, who cares? The average consumer says if it's more than 3 months old, it's less relevant. So you've got to continuously collect as many reviews as possible and put them on as many review platforms as possible so that you dominate. We call it, page 1 domination. You dominate those search results with 2, 3, 4, 5 review platforms on page 1. And now you own it. And now
they love variety too. Variety as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you follow behavioral science, Dr. Robert Cialdini, he wrote a book called Persuasion. And we say that persuasion in search is how you show up in search. So if people do a search for abc.com reviews and you are dominating page 1 with positive reviews, you're persuaded in your mind to trust and like that brand. So when you go there, your conversion rates can be higher. Why? You already trust them. You don't need to look for more trust signals. Google already says they're trusted.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually something that I noticed was I used to go on podcasts all the time. I don't really do it as much as I used to because I have this show. And I went on 30 podcasts in 3 months. I use this tool, AIPodcastmatcher.com. It uses AI to find hosts who want guests on their shows to match them with relevant guests who want to go on shows. It makes a lot of sense. And I went on 30 podcasts in 3 months, and something that I noticed was that like all of the thumbnails for these podcasts were showing up even years later for my name on Google Images. Past, like I would specifically put images on my site to rank on Google, but Google was preferring the YouTube thumbnails. And it wasn't just that. It was taking images of me from social media, from articles that were written about me, from all sorts of places. And it's just something that I thought about is that, Google loves frequency. This is like, they love, to your point, they love video so much that I will see the same video ranking number 1 for my target keyword. It's the same video on like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and it is ranking number 1, the same video, because it comes out everywhere, ranking number 1 for the target keyword because variety is so important.
Yeah.
And
third party.
And recency too. Yeah.
Third party platforms get as much content off your page, right? This is particularly important for AI search because AI search is more adept at finding brand mentions, images, stories, etc., on third-party platforms, Reddit, Quora, press releases, news sites, niche sites, etc., than traditional SEO ever was. And so those brand mentions, even if it doesn't have a backlink, is very, very important for AI search these days. I mean, just do a search for, who is or what is, and see what comes up. Look at those sources that the AI search results are citing, and you'll see how amazingly important it is to get mentions off page, and do the same for your competitors. The competitors that are dominating the AI search results, look at the search sources. And it's amazing that they're usually not the brand website. It's other sites. So, PR, super important. Not saying backlinks aren't important, but just brand mentions.
You can say I actually have a shirt that says backlinks don't matter, so it's okay. You can say that. I have a shirt. I wear it sometimes.
I hate saying
they're important. They're important, but they're not as important as everybody believes.
Correct, or as important as they used to be.
Yes.
With AI search, the backlink is not as important as just getting a positive brand mention on a credible third-party site. So PR is back. PR is real.
Oh yeah, press releases are influencing AI a ton. It's insane what's happening with it. And they don't even have to be like. There's a story I share all the time. This guy Harpreet came on the pod a few months ago. He uses a press release from AB Newswire. AB Newswire has a package for $500 a year. You get like 83 press releases, and any press release after that is $6. 500 divided by 83 is 6, so it's essentially $6 press releases if you send out a lot of press releases. He puts out a press release targeting like best AI SEO newsletter, and like the next day or something, AI overviews in Google are calling him calling his newsletter the best AI SEO newsletter. ChatGPT is citing it. Perplexity is citing it. Claude is citing it. Everywhere is citing it. And press releases are press releases. And he's like, I can't believe this. Press releases are back. What? This is.
Yeah. It's true. And there's another one called EIN Presswire. And brand push guarantee.
And all of these are good. All of these are good for influencing AI.
Yep. Particularly for AI. Yep. Because you're going to get, like say brand push, for example, they guarantee you're going to get your article on 200 plus news sites. Now they might be your local, ABC affiliate or local Fox affiliate. It doesn't matter. It's a legitimate, credible third party site that is, hosting your press release. And again, that is super powerful for AI because AI sees it as a vote of confidence, a vote of trust and credibility. And it shows up in those AI sources. So yeah, press releases are back. Heck, you can do a press release. And I advocate this. If you're still blogging on your website, write a press release about your new blog. Hey, we just posted this great insightful article, research, study, how-to guide, best practices, whatever. Do a press release, right? Again, back to your point. If it costs you $6.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask actually. Like, what if you got that $500 a year package and you just send out press releases whenever you do anything? So my question is that's going to be time consuming and require a lot of effort unless the press releases don't need to be very long. And I don't know if you guys have any information on this. This is a nuanced question, but it's like, could you influence AI search with like a short press release that you write in 20 minutes?
Well, first of all, you can use AI to help you write a press release very fast and very effectively. So
that's true.
You can use AI to create a very powerful 700 word, 500 word press release with backlinks. Now, obviously the publisher may not use the backlink, or it may not be a do follow backlink. It might be no follow, but it doesn't matter. Again, it's just the brand mentions and a positive sentiment. You can also use press releases every time you get a new client. Hey, we just signed
my gosh, that's
this
so
company,
smart.
right? Every time you hire a new employee, every time you release a new product or a new feature to that product, you just have to get creative around reasons to use press releases, and then just fire those bad boys out all the time, and use different release platforms, by the way, because different ones have different strengths. So I advocate mixing it up. Use 2 or 3 different release platforms. And, PR Newswire is still a gold standard, right? So use that one 3 or 4 times a year for your big releases, and those go to your major publications. But then use these smaller niche ones that are particularly powerful in AI for your everyday releases, and you mix it up, right? Because Google doesn't want to see the same content on the same sites all the time. And so if you're using different platforms, you're going to get into different sites and get a broader mix of visibility.
You guys are speaking my language. I'm so hyped by that. This is something that I think about all the time. People really underestimate just how much positive reviews. I mean, maybe they don't, but like seeing press about you, seeing social proof, seeing good things, shortened sales cycles, so much. It's like you could spend all this time, so much time trying to sell somebody, but if instead you take that time and you direct it to getting a positive review or like some nice social proof, something nice written about you, that's not just going to sell that one person that you're trying to sell. That's going to sell everybody else as well.
Yeah.
And it's
I think
evergreen.
reviews, like, it is evergreen, but they, like you said, they are very underestimated. One of the things that people don't understand about reviews is we live in 2 worlds, and that's what makes reviews incredibly unique. On the one side, we have the ability to syndicate your reviews and your social proof to Google, Bing, different open review platforms. Like, you have the ability to show up in search all over the place, right? To get traffic, to make you stand out, to become the reputation king. That's why we wrote that. That's why we called it that. So you get to be a player in search, but then you also get to be a player in conversion rate optimization on your website, because you can take that same review, put it in, send it to search in Google, and then it can show up on your site, which is social proof and credibility and authority, and that increases your likelihood of making a purchase. So not only do you get to get more traffic from search, but then you get to sell more because your conversion rate goes up because of the social proof. So you actually get to play in 2 worlds and with one asset.
Yeah.
It's very underestimated.
And one thing I wanted to point out too on press releases, didn't want to quite finish this thought, but if you think about like PR Newswire, which has been around forever, again, it's the gold standard. It's been around for decades. If you publish a press release on PR Newswire, even if it doesn't get picked up by a news platform or a magazine or what have you, it's still indexable, crawlable content on that very credible server. So Google might just grab that press release or pieces of that press release. AI, for example, grab pieces of the press release, even though it's never been officially published. It's still content on the web on a highly credible third-party site. So think about that, right? People get so worried about getting published. You don't necessarily have to get published if you just create the content on these press release servers. Another little, thing that people don't often think about.
Press releases are great.
Yeah.
What are mistakes that you see lots of people making with their reputation online?
They don't collect reviews.
I knew you were going to say that.
They don't respond to reviews.
Yeah. Okay. They don't respond to reviews.
Respond to reviews. Again, people say this all the time, right? People want an authentic, transparent, honest, trustworthy brand. Well, if you respond to reviews and they can see your voice, your tonality, your transparency, your authenticity, your empathy, you're showing empathy for your customers, you're listening. People want a brand that listens because they're going to naturally think, well, if you're not responding to these people, you're not going to respond to me. So if I have a problem, I have an issue, and you're not responding to these 600 reviews, why in the world am I going to be any different? Which is why people read negative reviews. Did you respond? Did you solve the problem? How did you solve the problem? How quickly did you respond? Were you rude and obnoxious and blaming the customer, or are you empathetic? And this is the window, if you will, into the soul of the brand. And so that's a huge thing. Like, be transparent, be authentic, be empathetic, show that you care. These are things that people overlook. They think, well, I'm collecting reviews, I'm good, check the box. No, you've got to respond. You've got to show your personality, your authenticity, your transparency, your empathy, because that's the personality, that's the soul, right? That comes out louder and clearer than anything.
And just for an example, we think reviews are so important, and I personally think they are. As the CEO, I respond to the 1-star reviews myself because it's that important. It's worth my time to go and help that customer.
How do you respond to, like, what do you say to bad reviews? What's your process for responding to them?
So obviously you have to take, the problem and look at it from their perspective. I think that's very important. You have to show empathy right out of the gate. I usually say something like, "Hey, so-and-so, I'm really sorry that you had that issue or that you had that problem. Let me see if I can help to solve it." And then I talk about, what the problem was and then what the solution to the problem is. I make sure that there's a way that they can contact me or my staff. But I just show a lot of empathy and compassion for what they're going through, because we've all been there. We've all had problems where we're super frustrated and we just want somebody to care enough to give us some attention, right? It takes me maybe 15 minutes to respond to a 1-star, but I'm telling you, it makes the world of difference. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the CEO, but it's got to be someone that can really connect with them and be empathetic and just show them that you care, because if you can show them that you care, how many hundreds of other people are going to read that review and know that you care, and they're going to make a decision based on that.
And this is a conversion hack, not necessarily an SEO hack, but remember, Edward, back in the 90s and 2000s, it was very common practice to have your phone number in the upper right-hand corner of your website. And then your address was in the lower left corner of your footer. That was very standard layout practice. Well, as time went on, designers thought, the phone number's not that important, or the brand thought the phone number wasn't that important. But the reality is, people just want to know that they can access the brand. They can call them. Are they going to call that number? Most likely not. They just want to know they can. So it's one of those trust signals that people just subconsciously, they see it, they recognize it. Wonderful. Now think about this. It's so cheap to have somebody in the Philippines, somebody in India, etc., answering your phone 24/7, 365. It's so cheap. And it gives
How cheap is it?
That it's like a couple dollars an hour, right? I mean, it's really, really cheap. So you can literally have 24/7, 365 live person answering the phone, even if they just take a message and let people know, hey, Bill, really appreciate you reaching out. We're going to have somebody from support or product or shipping or whatever the issue is, reach out to you. What's the best way to contact you? What that does is it gives people the sense that the brand is real, they're listening, they're accessible, they're accountable, and somebody's going to reach out and take care of my problem or answer my question. So they don't have to be experts, but just having a live person there gives a lot of comfort to people about a brand, because unfortunately, a lot of brands hide behind that digital wall, and their accessibility, other than a AI chatbot and an email maybe, is not real comforting to a lot of people.
It's true.
They want to actually be able to reach a person. So again, that's not SEO. But it is CRO, and
it's real.
Driving traffic without sales is obviously
it's real. So
real.
Matthew Stafford, when he came on the show, he's like, put a phone number on your site. And so what I did is this how I did it, because I wanted a number that in case it got like deluged with spam, I'm putting a public number out there. It could get spam. It can receive text messages. I literally coded on my site a short code where I just put in the short code phone number. And then the phone number that I have in my, I don't remember the exact short code, something phone number, but then the phone number that I have in my code will populate into that short code. And it makes it really easy if I ever have to change the phone number because it gets spammed to oblivion or something, then I can literally just change it in one place and it appears all around my site with this short code. And then when I actually put this in, I literally get questions every day from potential customers. They're like, I saw compact keywords. Will it work for me? Literally every day I get questions from people. And you know what? I answer them personally too. That's just a fun thing. I answer them personally, and it allows me to learn too. I learn so much from the things that people text me about, like the questions that people text me, and I'm able to improve my landing page and everything around the product based on that. Yeah, phone numbers are critical. I really hate it when you can't reach phone support with companies. It just like bothers me so much. Yeah. I think I even have these show on my lock screen because it's so important. And I have like pretty much all notifications turned off, but this is one thing where I don't have notifications turned off.
That's great. Yeah. Again, people, they just want that accessibility, and it's just a comfort thing, and it's often overlooked. And a lot of designers these days, they just don't want to put that phone number on the website. They think it's clutter, and a lot of brands don't want the phone number because they don't want to deal with it.
Well, everyone's obsessed with automating things and saving time, and
Right.
and that's important. Automation is important. Saving time is very important. But there are little things to do. Matthew Stafford, he came on and he's like, not that many people will actually use it. Some people will, and it's going to be very helpful, and it's also going to be very helpful in converting, but not that many people are actually going to use it. I get messages every day just because I have a big brand and lots of people see me and lots of people go to the landing page. But I think for a lot of businesses, yeah, they might not get a message every day, but just literally seeing the phone number there will boost conversions
Yeah,
a really substantial amount.
absolutely. And speaking of Matthew Stafford, his CEO, David Schomer, do you know David?
No, I don't.
He's the CEO of Build Grow Scale. He wrote the foreword to our new book coming out called Cash Flow.
What's cash flow about?
So cash flow is about improving cash flow on your e-commerce website. We've identified 10 revenue robbers and 5 revenue growth tools, and we've put them into a comprehensive suite that negates your credit card processing fees and increases revenue at the same time. And so it's all about cash flow, right? I mean, every business is about cash flow. You can make a ton of money, but if you don't have net profit and cash flow at the end of the day, you really don't have a business. And so we did a lot of research, spent a year researching this, and found that there's several cash flow robbers, profit robbers, that can reduce your profit margins by up to 47.8%. And then we address those issues, and then we also drive more traffic and conversions to the top line. So we're addressing the top line revenue and the bottom line revenue, creating this whole cash flow machine, and hence wrote the book Cash
Can you
Flow.
share any of the robbers?
Yeah, false declines. So a lot of credit cards get declined because you have these dumb algorithms that see this as a bad credit card or potential fraud. So you get a large number of false declines, which should be money in your pocket. Real fraud is a real robber. Lost, stolen, damaged products and shipping is a cash flow robber. Returns, huge cash flow robber.
Cart
What's the other?
abandonment.
Card abandonment, site abandonment, chargebacks. These are all huge robbers. For example, a lot of people don't realize, but for every $100 in a chargeback is going to cost you $250. Why? Because you've got internal costs, you've got the chargeback fees from the credit card companies, you've got the lost product, you've got the lost shipping, the customer acquisition costs, et cetera. So a chargeback is actually costing you 250% on average of the original purchase. Chargebacks are a huge profit robber for e-commerce brands. So
How do you
there's
prevent
many
them?
of these. There's chargeback prevention tools that give you alerts, and also fight the chargeback by providing the brand with all of the legitimate information, the email, the address, the authority that they gave the site to make that purchase. And then they say, well, gee, this is your email address, right? The product was shipped, the product was received. We've got pictures of the receipt. You've used this same card and address to make previous purchases. are you sure this wasn't you? Right? And so, oh yeah, oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, that was me. So if you can dispute those chargebacks, because a lot of people say, well, I didn't get the product, or I didn't order this product, I don't know who you are. Well, if you can prove that it was them, then they've got nothing to stand on, and the charge goes through.
Yeah, basically we went on a journey for a year to find these 15 robbers or accelerators, and then we found tools that help to offset those problems to help companies maximize their cash flow. It's really cool. There's nothing like it that exists. It's going to be fun to launch. We're launching it in January, actually.
That's dope. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's really exciting because it's all about revenue, net profits. And so many websites just accept these costs as the cost of doing business, but the reality is they don't have to be. And we've actually found a tool that will self-insure, if you will, all the products that go out. And if it arrives broken or it's lost or stolen, then that shipping company will repurchase that product for the client and send it to the client. So you get two purchases in one. And it doesn't come out of the pocket of the e-commerce website. The customer is actually paying, like 98 cents for this insured shipping, which is an insurance policy, if you will, which then, sends another product that the company itself doesn't have to pay for, nor does the client. So the client's happy, they leave better reviews, the company doesn't have to pay for it, and everybody wins. So, and they get two sales in one. That's just one example. There are so many ways to mitigate these very expensive costs that, like I said, we averaged out through tons of research and citations that can add up to 47.8% of your revenue being lost out the back
You said
door.
the first one was false to clients. And how do you prevent that?
By having a very intelligent acceptance tool that runs through Experian or Equifax, that looks at every transaction that consumer has ever made on that card. It looks at their devices, it looks at their address, it looks at their cards, it looks at their credit history, their purchase history, et cetera. It says, oh, this is a legitimate person with a legitimate card. There's a lot of dumb algorithms out there that don't have the consumer purchase history and insights that Equifax has.
So what are some platforms that are like, what do you think? Actually, I just want to ask, what do you think of Stripe? Really?
It's average.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's average. They have no customer support. It's huge market share. It's obviously going after market penetration, but who are you going to call? Who's going to pick up that phone 24/7 and say, hey, I've got this problem or this issue? Stripe doesn't offer it. They don't have the most intelligent, fraud detection tools. They don't mitigate false declines to the level they could and should. So we use a product called Count that is owned by Equifax and has this massive consumer database, looks at every transaction, every credit history. From the time you first apply for credit, you are in the Equifax database, and they know everything about you. They know your credit score, they know your residency history, they know, your income, everything. And so it's much easier for them to accept a transaction, even if you're suddenly traveling, which you do, right? You're a digital nomad. Also, you're in another country, another address, another IP address, but they still know, oh, this is Edward. He's cool. We're gonna let him buy this product. But a dumb algorithm, oh, wait a minute, this is a new IP address, this is a different country. Nope, and they decline your purchase. Well, you're legitimate. It's you. It's your card. Nobody stole it, but you get declined. Well, that's lost revenue for the. So these dumb algorithms that don't have the consumer insights and the massive database access that can verify that is a legitimate purchase is going to cost you a lot of money. A lot of brands lose thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a month on false declines. Credit cards that should have gone through, should have been approved, but weren't. Or it's an unusually large purchase. Well, again, Edward once in a while makes these large purchases. It's okay. We're going to let this go through. So these are the kinds of things that are important to partner with the right products, the right services that have the right resources to make sure that they're approving the good guys and denying the bad guys.
Do you have any suggestions for Stripe users to mitigate false declines?
Off the cuff, no.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. But that's great. A great thought. You were going to say something, Scott?
And Stripe is better than a lot of companies out there. They do, at least Stripe does have tools to help with that. A lot of merchant providers don't. They just rely on like Authorized Net or their gateways dumb filters that basically like DJ was saying, oh, if your IP doesn't match or if your address doesn't match, just automatically decline it. That's a huge miss. Miss.
Or a new device ID. Suddenly you got a new phone and you're using it for the first time to make a purchase and you get denied because of a new device ID. So those are
you guys got to come.
No, Stripe's not bad.
You guys got to come back on the show
just,
when you release the book.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a good conversation. I want to wrap. Something that's really important in SEO is branded searches, and people underestimate how important they are. They're so important. Do you guys have any thoughts on how to increase branded searches? People searching on search engines, specifically search engines for your brand name.
The PR. Publish holiday shopping guides, right? The 10 best gifts in 2026 for, teenage girls. The 5 best Father's Day gifts this year. How-to guides, comparison guides, listicles.
But that's not going to help with branded searches. These are like, you want to increase people actually searching your brand name.
Well, when people are aware of your brand.
Yeah. So how do you get people aware of your, I guess, yeah. Well, press releases are not as effective as they used to be for getting people aware of your brand unless you are doing something in a very hot niche. Then press releases can work. They are good for influencing AI, as we talked about. They're great for that. Right. But I mean, to your point, going on podcasts, going on podcasts,
advertise.
Yeah.
Publicity. Yep. Just get out there, get your name out there, publish, speak, right? Write, get
collaborations,
create your own podcasts, collaborations, partnerships. Just get your brand out there. There's a lot to be said for getting on the speaking circuit. Again, podcasting, writing, write a book, write a booklet. Here's something I used to do way back in the 90s is I found a niche publication for an industry that I was targeting. I had a boutique agency in the automotive space, and I found a niche publication for the retail automotive dealerships. And I reached out to the publisher and editor and said, hey, I'd love to write an article on database marketing for the automotive industry. He didn't have a column for that. He said, sure. So I started doing that. A few months later, he said, hey, would you write an article or a piece on advertising, on PR, on motorsports marketing, et cetera. All of a sudden, I had 4 different columns in that publication. I owned it. So all of a sudden, people were calling me because I had brand awareness through a niche publication that they were reading. And suddenly I was working for the major automotive manufacturers and the largest dealer groups in the country. Why? Because people heard of me. Because I was writing in these niche publications, which then got me on the speaker circuit for the National Automobile Dealers Association, right? And all of a sudden, I was a brand name by just doing old-fashioned PR. Writing a column, which led to multiple columns, which led to speaking, which led to major contracts with a boutique agency.
Yeah. Leveraging different appearances to get more appearances. I was also thinking about your method of getting reviews, but using it to get word of mouth. Tell your friends about us, and then they tell your friends about them, and then the friends go and search your brand name. And this was awesome. You guys are great. This was I didn't expect this conversation to be as fun as it was, and I learned. I love conversations where I learn stuff that I am going to go and implement after, and that's what this was. So
Awesome.
Yeah. And I have no doubt that when your next book comes out, you guys are going to come on the show and share some more things. And I'm going to take notes just like I did with this conversation. And then after the call, I'm going to go and like do these things. So
I think we're gonna blow people away with what we're coming out with.
Yeah,
Definitely.
cash flow is a mind melt. It really is. In fact, again, our forward written by David Schomer, he's a CPA and he's had multiple e-commerce websites. And he said, I never knew about these issues. I never realized, A, they existed, how much they were costing me, and there was an actual solution to them. He was literally blown away. We'd like to give a gift to your audience, if we could, Edward.
sure.
We'd like to give our free digital book, Cash Flow Kings. Just
You
go
mean
to
Reputation Kings?
I'm sorry. I'm mixing up the two books.
Yeah.
Cash Flow with Reputation Kings.
Yeah.
Cash Flow's coming out. Reputation King, go to reputationking/download, and you can get the free digital and audio book.
ReputationKing.com.
Yep,
.com/download.
reputationking.com.
And that'll be in the description for this episode. And then your tool is called what for people to check out?
Shopper approved.
Shopper approved.
Shopper approved. And the links
.com.
to your do you use LinkedIn? Do you use X? What are you guys most active on?
LinkedIn.
Cool. So then your LinkedIn's will also be in the description for this episode. Stick around, guys, after I hit stop, as this will have to upload. And thanks again, both of you, for coming on this show. This was so much fun. For everybody watching and listening, this is episode 833 of The Edward Show. This is my daily digital marketing podcast, 833 days in a row doing this crazy, crazy podcast. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.